All right, let's talk about the absolute foundation of engineering, measurement. You see, this isn't just about numbers and equations in a textbook. It's a language. It's the universal code that lets us build literally everything around us, from the phone in your hand to the bridges you drive over. And mastering this language, the language of units and calculations, well, that's job number one for thinking like a real engineer.
So here's our roadmap. First, we'll cover the single most important rule in all of engineering. Then we're going to look at the two main dialects of measurement that you'll see out in the world. We'll spend some real time decoding the most common one, the SI system, and then learn how to translate between units. And finally, we'll go over the pro-level rules to make sure your calculations are always rock solid. So first up, let's get into what I call engineering's golden rule. And trust me, this isn't just some academic concept. It's the one principle that really separates a project that works from one that, well, doesn't.
Just think about it for a second. You've got a massive steel bridge, an impossibly tiny microchip, and a rocket ready for launch. Three completely different things, right? But what's the one thing they all absolutely have to share to even exist?
The answer is precision. Every single one is built on a shared, non-negotiable language of measurement. If you get the numbers wrong, if you mix up the units, best case scenario, your project just fails. Worst case, it can be a catastrophe. This is why we have to get this right every single time.
The entire alphabet of this language is really built on just four basic ideas, or quantities. We've got length, which tells us how big something is. We've got time. There's mass, which is just how much stuff is in an object. And finally, force, which is basically any push or pull on that object.
Now here's the really cool part. These four things aren't just floating around independently. Nope. They are all tied together by one of the most famous equations in all of physics, Newton's second law. Force equals mass times acceleration. This right here is the glue that holds all of mechanics together. And it means our whole system of units can't just be random. They have to be consistent with this law.
So, to make sure everything stays consistent, engineers developed standardized systems. You can think of them as the two main languages of measurement that you're going to bump into out in the field. On one side, you have the International System, or SI, which you probably know as the metric system. It's all about the meter, the second, and the kilogram. On the other side, there's the US Customary system, which uses the foot, the second, and the pound. Now notice that time is the second in both, which is super convenient. But here's where it gets interesting. Look at mass and force. In the SI system, mass is the base unit, and force, the Newton, is derived from it. In the US system, it's flipped. Force, the pound, is the base unit, and mass, the slug, is derived from that. So, which language do you really need to be fluent in? Well, while you'll definitely see both, especially if you're working in the US, the SI system is the global standard for pretty much all science and engineering. So that's the one we're really going to focus on.
All right, so let's pop the hood on the SI system. It's actually beautifully logical, built on a really simple structure of base units, derived units, and these super handy things called prefixes.
Okay, so what in the world is a derived unit? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a unit that we create by combining the base units. Remember how we said force, mass, and acceleration were all linked by F equals ma? Well, that means their units have to be linked too. Force isn't something you measure from scratch like mass. It's defined by what it does to a mass.
And that brings us to the definition of a Newton. So what is 1 Newton? It's the exact amount of force you need to make a 1 kilogram mass accelerate at 1 meter per second squared. See? It's not just some random value. It's a direct result of the base units we use for mass, length, and time. It all fits together like a puzzle. Now, in engineering, you're dealing with a huge range of scales. You could be talking about the force in a bridge, which might be millions of newtons, or the size of a component on a chip, which could be billionths of a meter. Writing out all those zeros is just a pain, right? And it's so easy to make a mistake. That's where prefixes become our best friends. Prefixes are really just shorthand for powers of 10, and they make life so much easier. Here are the big ones you'll see all the time. And notice the pattern. It's really elegant. Giga for a billion. Mega for a million, kilo for 1,000. They move in these nice, clean steps of 1,000, or 10 to the power of 3. And the same logic works on the small side, with milli, micro, and nano.
So what this means in practice is that instead of writing out a big clunky number like 4 million newtons, an engineer just saves time and space by writing 4mn for 4 meganewtons. It's cleaner, it's faster, and it's way harder to misread.
So, knowing the languages is one thing, but being able to translate between them, that's an absolutely essential skill. Unit conversion is something you're going to be doing constantly as an engineer. All the time.
But before we convert anything, we need to talk about this really powerful idea called dimensional homogeneity. Now that's a fancy term, but it just means that in any real equation, the units on both sides of the equal sign have to match. You can't add meters and seconds. It's like you can't add apples and oranges. And this is your secret weapon, because if your units don't work out, you know immediately that you've made a mistake somewhere. It's the best built-in error checker you'll ever have.
Let's see this in action with a quick example. Let's say we want to convert 2 kilometers per hour into meters per second. The trick is to multiply by a conversion factor that's actually just equal to 1. Since 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilometer, this fraction right here is just 1. But look what it does. It lets us cancel out the kilometer unit, top and bottom. Then we do the same thing for hours, using the fact that 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. The hour units cancel out, and we're left with meters on top and seconds on the bottom. Perfect!
Okay, we are almost there. You know the units, you know how to convert them. Now let's just cover the professional standards for how you actually do your calculations and report your answers.
Here are 3 key rules of the road. First, never, ever round your numbers in the middle of a calculation. Just keep all the digits your calculator gives you to stay as precise as possible. Second, because most of the data we work with is only reliable to about 3 significant figures, that's what we use for our final answer. And third, to avoid any confusion with big numbers with lots of zeros, we use engineering notation, like 23.4 times 10 to the third, to make the number of significant figures crystal clear.
And just a few more pro tips for dealing with those prefixes. Before you start punching numbers in your calculator, convert any prefixes into their base units using powers of 10. This will save you from so many headaches. Then, when you get your final answer, express it using one single appropriate prefix. The general goal is to keep the number itself somewhere between 0.1 and 1,000. It's just the standard, clean way to communicate your results.
And all of this really comes back to one simple but powerful idea. Presenting your work in a logical, neat, and orderly way isn't just about getting a better grade from your professor. It's a professional discipline. Why? Because being neat and organized on paper actually helps you think clearly and orderly in your head. It helps you catch your own mistakes and see the path to the solution. So there you have it, the fundamental quantities, the systems of measurement, the rules for converting, and the standards for calculating. This is the language of engineering. It's the language that builds our entire world. The only question left is, are you ready to start building with it?
This video was created by Notebook LM and brought to you by AlJazari. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might find it interesting. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. Stay tuned for more industrial insights, and we'll see you in the next video.